people.
Power to the people.
People got the power.
People got the power.
Tell me, can you hear us?
Tell me, can you hear us?
Are raising the global temperature to an extreme level that in the Middle East may literally become unsurvivable.
The threat of climate change to the Middle East is real and serious. The region is the driest in the world, and it's about to get a lot drier.
We're getting up and we're doing something. And if people don't join us, if politicians don't hear us, if governments don't listen to us, then they'll be on the wrong side of history. I started off this research project with a poll that I had created. I put it out into the community, asking them whether their voices are heard in the current climate change debates. And as the weeks went by, the poll started to fill up with so many more no's than yeses.
Power!
Power!
People!
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 Power!
Power!
Now, and it would just be really interesting to see kind of how you would respond to that if you saw that out in the community, and whether you feel like your voice is heard, whether the things that you believe are actually shown.
Have you heard about them stopping the M-word?
No.
In the middle of the motorway?
No.
Stopping all the busy roads and they're doing a protest.
Oh really?
Just white.
I just see it all white. Yeah, I didn't see.
I think if I was to speak up about something, and then if a white person was to speak up about something, I think the white person will get heard more than me. I think they have that privilege to be heard more and to be listened more rather than me. For example, if a white person starts a movement, it gets spread. If I started it, it wouldn't, even if it was the same movement kind of thing. So I think it really does play a part in that sense.
If you saw the movement and you saw your own communities in that movement right now in this westernised world, would you be more likely to engage with it, do you think? Yeah.
Really? Feel more represented in the community. Yeah. I feel like I belong.
The poll clearly indicated that the community's voices are not heard, which is why I found it important to provide space within the project to focus on how we can move forward, what can be changed, and who has the power to take the first steps in improving the representation. I asked the participants of the focus group to create a pyramid of different people and groups who can make that change, with the one at the top representing the group they feel should take the first steps. The 6 categories I gave them were:
if the mostly white climate movement could solve the climate crisis alone, they would have by now. And in fact, it is incumbent to solve the climate crisis, to make the kinds of changes that we have to have happen. We have to build bridges with communities of color. We have to listen to communities of color. And most importantly, the climate movement needs to step in and genuinely support the needs of those communities.
Okay, how about you guys? Who's at the top?
So we put the government because we just feel like there's a lot more they can do.
Okay, how about you? Because you put the government at the top.
Yeah, we put the government at the top because the government can do well more, that's what we believe. I feel like the government control a lot of things.
Okay.
So that's why they're at the top, and that's why social media is below it. Social media does have like a big control over it, but not as much as the government. I feel like if the government took that first step, social media will follow.
Okay, so you believe that there isn't, the lack of representation isn't that these communities are not doing work or the things are not happening, it's just that they're not being shown by the right people. Okay. Regardless of where we are at the moment and the things we've talked about, moving forward on like a positive note, who would be the person or people to make that change? So if you put one person in your head, what we're going to do is we're going to make protest boards.
Power!
Power!
People!
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 A platform in that sense as well. If you don't have the safe space to do something, you're less likely to do it.
We've got to be careful as well with obviously there's racist people in the world, so if we kind of come together and say, oh, climate change in our country, then they can say back, oh, go back to the country, then why here, kind of thing. It's always like we've got to protect ourselves as well. Our voice on climate change, I think, which is kind of dismissed when we say anything. Like a lot of us come from countries that are like developing countries, and if anything does arise from climate change, which it is actually, if it's the developing countries, we don't think we'll worry about first world countries first. No one actually assists us.
Countries in the Middle East and in the Arab world are the ones most affected by it, and it's now just kind of saying, well, if that's the case, then they should be heard.
And we can hear us.
Stronger by the hour.
Getting stronger by the hour.
Power.
Power.
People.
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 Power.
Power.
Power to the people.
My community is not showing in the climate change movement, because when I turn the TV on or go on my phone or even listen to the radio, I never hear anything about how we should improve the climate for the community and my country. I am shocked there is not many conversations about the climate in the Middle East, the dry climate, the lack of water. There are so many reasons why they need help and deserve to be heard.
Power.
Power.
People.
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 Power.
Power.
I think the government should be the first to take steps in giving support to these communities in sharing their voices. I think the government is responsible for making changes, and social media will follow.
Power.
Power.
People.
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 Power.
Power.
The Middle Eastern and Arab community needs safe space to talk about their experiences, and they should be asked what is important to be shown or done.
We can hear us.
Stronger by the hour.
Getting stronger by the hour.
Power.
Power.
People.
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 Power.
Power.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
People got the power.
People got the power.
Tell me, can you hear us?
Tell me, can you hear us?
Stronger by the hour.
Getting stronger by the hour.
Power.
Power.
People.
People. And we can hear us.
Stronger by the hour.
Getting stronger by the hour.
Power.
Power.
People.
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 Power.
Power.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
People got the power.
People got the power.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
People got the power.
People got the power.
Even if it's just a little bit higher up. Just so that like maybe the light starts above the pipe.
Cool, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Ah,
Yeah.
you legend.
Brilliant.
Does that make a difference?
There is now.
Why is this so tense?
Okay.
Done!
People got the power. Tell me, can you hear us?
Are raising the global temperature to an extreme level that in the Middle East may literally become unsurvivable.
The threat of climate change to the Middle East is real and serious. The region is the driest in the world, and it's about to get a lot drier.
absolutely so proud. Well done, honestly, so well done. I can't wait for you to come in and see it as well.